Canada and to operate from here. But the one of the benefits of COVID for me is that I do business all over North America and even globally now. So there's always a silver lining, I guess, to anything. So top of mind gifts for those of you who haven't seen or that we haven't had a one-to-one. My focus is to help businesses simply stay top of mind with their clients. The average couple of good stats for marketing people, the average person, the average client of a business is typically very happy. They would refer other people to them. So we think, well, that's great, I'll get lots of referrals. But the reality is that less than 1 in 10 can actually remember your name as a business after a year or so. Now, what that means is that you have a bunch of referral opportunities, and I say you in general, but you have a bunch of referral opportunities that are out there, but the problem is that humans are somewhat lazy. And if we don't have your name, if we don't have the business on the top of our mind, then the referrals don't happen. You got about 3 to 5 seconds to be remembered. Now, the second part of this is what is top of mind awareness? And top of mind awareness is not simply, yeah, I remember, or I know, or I like. It is, nowadays, this is really easy to say. Who's the president of the United States? Well, Donald Trump comes to mind, like it, leave it, whatever. But that's top of mind awareness. What country do you live in? Who's your spouse? Those kinds of things where you don't have to think, you know the answer before the question is even finished being asked. That's what you need to be with your clients in order to be remembered, to be referred in those kind of situations. And I would have to say that most people like to think they're in that place, but they're not. And I put it out there to everyone. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where somebody has asked you for some kind of referral, given whatever the case may be, in a larger situation, realtors, mortgage brokers, and are kind of traditional examples. But if you've ever said, "Hey, do you know somebody in this space?" and you've had somebody say, "Oh yeah, I had a great experience. I was talking to this great person. What was their name again?" Right? Everybody's been there. You've had it done yourself, you've had it done to others, and 70% roughly of referrals or opportunities are lost that way just because we don't have that simple answer in that few seconds. And let's be honest, as much as we'd like to think that may be the case, they're not going to go home, look you up, find your card, and get back to that person to give them your name. That just doesn't happen. So my whole business is focused around helping deal with that situation. It's how do you stay remembered? What kinds of things can you do? A couple other interesting statistics. Most of you probably know, it takes at least 12 touches nowadays to actually break through and make an engagement or an interaction with somebody that's of value as far as a prospect goes. 12 touches, different types of media, 17 or so to typically get to your first worthwhile conversation. And to stay top of mind the way I'm talking about, you need to be in touch about once 37 times a year. So just about once every week and a half, once a week. And for those of you who are in client contact every week, every month, no problem. But for those of us who deal with our clients maybe once a year, in some cases, maybe even on a multi-year basis, that is very hard to do. There's only so many emails you can send, so many social posts, which that's a whole nother story about whether those are even hitting the mailboxes anymore. But it's very hard to achieve that. So what we try and do is help people find ways to do that. Do I have sharing ability, Ed? I mean, I share in so many ways, but on the screen too.
Should be
Yes, you
able to.
do. By the way, sharing is
Okay.
always open.
Okay, perfect. So let's see, there we go. So this is just a little bit more about me now, with the preface being said. Just in my family. So my eldest daughter, my middle daughter, and my son. My wife, Elisa, we're actually here watching him in a soccer tournament this weekend, so we're on the road.
Well,
And
he's as tall as you already.
Oh, in this picture, there's a whole story. This picture, he was not. This is a misleading, deceptive line. Don't believe it. And as of a week ago, he actually is now. So I put it off as long as I could, but I've had to concede, and now I'm no longer the tallest person in the family, which is all good because he's a goalie. So having long arms, being tall is good. Here's again, he and I'm old enough to at least admit I play pickleball. He is young enough that people don't bug him too much about it. But I took it up a long time ago, really enjoy the sport, and got him into it when he was actually closer to half my height. And we played well. And then we got to the point we went into the provincial tournament championships and we took gold in this case as a father-son team. And probably mainly because most people were underrating the fact that I had a really young guy on my team. But that's a fun thing. We're here for soccer. I don't have a soccer picture, but we're a big soccer family, and we like to have some fun too, as per our outing there at the raceway. There we go. So I wasn't able to do it with this group, but I put out a survey to another group I belong to, and I said, "What do you think I sell?" And I put forward these answers. So Cutco, a lot of you probably heard me talk about that in the past. That's the knives for those of you who haven't. Pop-up cards, those are the cards Ed was talking about. Uh, Gifts in general, all of the above, none of the above. So most people say, well, yeah, just gifts of all kinds. Some people said, well, I do talk a lot about the pop-up cards. Nobody picked out Cutco by itself, but not a single person looked at none of the above. And the answer is actually none of the above. And why I say that is I do provide gifts and products for people to use, but what I sell is top of mind awareness. It's building a better relationship. It's staying top of mind, showing client appreciation, increasing the referrals you get. That kind of undescribable thing is what I sell. What I use to sell that or what I use to deliver that is things like Cutco and the pop-up cards. And I really want to hammer that out because a lot of times when people hear Cutco, for example, they think, oh, he must want to talk to people that like to cook or restaurants or chefs because that's knives. And I have to go back and say, yeah, they love Cutco. It's a great gift for them, but that's not what I'm selling. I'm selling top of mind awareness. So do those restaurants, those people like to cook, do they need to be remembered by their clients? Yes, they do, obviously, but that's a whole different mindset, a whole different way of looking at things compared to who likes to use a knife. And ironically, on a side note there, the people that like to cook that have good knives or that appreciate good knives typically have some. So if you think about it, where the biggest impact is for giving a really high-end knife to somebody is not the person that likes and uses really good high-end knives all the time. It's the person who has never justified buying a high-end knife, who doesn't have one, who's never used one, and once they get it, will use it faithfully, love it, brag about it every day for the rest of their lives. That is where you actually get a bigger impact, despite the fact that it's kind of counterintuitive. Cutco itself, just a brief history. So for those of you who don't know, it's been around since 1949, forever. It's guaranteed forever. And that's another crucial point I'll get to. Everybody uses it. They use it all the time, every day, and you're never forgotten. Last time we did a survey, believe it or not, I could probably go to this group too and say, how many people rip their food every day apart with their hands and eat like a beast? Well, probably not, right? So we all use knives. Now, from there, I had some fun here with AI, and I said I've got a Chat GPT account and stuff like that, and I said, hey, what are the top 5 things that you need to consider when you're giving a gift? And this is honest. I haven't trained it or whatever to say what I want, and it came back with this: relevance to the recipient. Obviously, it has to be something that makes sense. Visibility and longevity. If people aren't seeing it, interacting with it, and it's not going to be around for a while, it's not going to have an effect. Not that it's not a nice gift, not that it's not good. It's just that from the strategic impact of it being a gift, that is important. Memorability, does it stand out? Is there a wow factor? Quality, obviously, kind of ties in with longevity. If it's not quality, it's not going to last. And then strategic purpose and timing. Sometimes when you give a gift is as important as what you give or how you give it. Now, then I went on, and this is the bias part. I've obviously talked about my business and done strategy stuff, and I said, what are the top 10 gifts that you might be good candidates or things to give? And it came back and flattered me and said, well, pop-up cards, especially custom 3D ones, and engraved knives are the top 2 things you could give somebody. And I was like, wow, you're trying to butter me up here.
How big of a check did you write them, Dean?
Oh, exactly. And then I said, okay, well, from an unbiased position, what kinds of things, take my fact. I deleted some of the stuff in here, but I had a little bit of a fun time chatting, saying, this is all well and good, but you're trying to tailor this to me, aren't you? And he said, yeah. And so I said, well, what are the general ideas? And he said, well, premium cards are actually a really high end, handwritten notes, tangible. Nowadays, they're very effective. They're also, from a business standpoint, um, they're easy to get, send, use. So they're a good combination. High end utility items. Now, knives do fall into that category, but anything that's kept long term, that's used a lot. I think a lot of people have seen the Yeti mugs or the those kind of branded things where, again, the idea is people have them, they have them out in public, people see them, the branding, there's a reason behind it. And then you can read through the list: luxury items, premium brands, professional goods, leathers, all the way through. I'd never heard of, or I'd never used plants or puzzles in games, but I know when I've gotten them, they're effective. And I know more and more people are doing custom print puzzles and things like that. Anything that's different. And then something that, works with the senses. So scents, candles, other things like that. Pardon me. But this is what the internet came back with, and what's going on, trends and things like that. And I thought it was kind of interesting. The second thing, and I'm almost kind of through here, but the other thing I wanted to say is how you give a gift matters. Using Cutco again as an example, you can be a little bit unsure, like anything, and say, hey, thanks, and I got you this knife, and that really doesn't do much. This is a letter, one of a number of types of support pieces that we provide for people that are doing the gifting, if they want to use it, to show how you could give it, what kind of a letter you can include, and the kind of support we provide to make sure that their experience with their own customers is the best. So this one, just in case it's pretty small, it just says, thanks so much for your business. I mean a lot. It means a lot for me that you put your trust in me, and you want to work with me, and I love working with you as well. At first glance, this may seem like an unusual gift. If you haven't heard of Cutco before, it's the largest manufacturer of high quality knives and accessories in North America, and has been around since 1949. Here, we're building that value based on the points I just said before. The reason I chose Cutco is that I didn't want to get you just another gift basket or something else that would be consumed and forgotten. Again, there's reasons behind each one of these sentences. I wanted it to be something reflective of our relationship and stand the test of time. And I know I love using my Cutco in my kitchen. So I thought this would be a great gift for you, and I hope you enjoy using it in yours. And then here's what you got. Obviously, we want to tell them a little bit about what it is and how they can use it. Thanks so much. And let's put a little QR code in there. Let's put a little bit of a request, a soft ask. I think if you're doing things genuinely, you're not you're never going to go wrong showing appreciation, and it's never wrong um, to be willing to take that appreciation back. So please let me help more people in the same way I've helped you. If there's anybody, friends, family, or others that you think might benefit from interacting, love to talk to them. And just as it, I'll go to the next page here. And if you could leave me a Google review or something like that, be on there. And then we have a build a set program that we tend to tag onto that. And this is the second page to the letter saying, if you know anybody that does, show some interest in doing business with me or making a transaction, or if there's somebody that, you want to come back and do business again and so on, we have a build a set program where over time, every time you refer somebody to me, I just want to say thanks again. And instead of getting you a whole bunch of different gifts, I'm going to build up a set for you. So every time you're going to get a different piece, a different knife. And over time, we're going to build this whole set together, and you'll have this wonderful, nice set in your kitchen. And that's a really kind of cool thing too, because people love getting free stuff. They love having incentives. They love thinking about what's coming next. And when they have a block on their counter that's half full and half empty, there's all those little referral opportunities for them to get you some more business to fill up their block and get their next knife. So that's, and then I'm going to escape out of here. There we go. I'm just going to look for one sec because I have to show you something. I didn't have a folder. I'm on the road, so I don't have all the paraphernalia around me like normal. But I do have one pop-up card that's coming that I think, this hasn't even hit the streets yet, but I think it's a perfect example of what kinds of things we can do. Where are we here? Okay, there we go. So this is a new card that's coming out. And this is Darwin. Let me share again. And Darwin is the darling of Alpha and Omega Farms. That is their goat, Darwin, and that is his pop-up. That's the actual pop-up that's going to be in his card. And we can go through some other versions. So if you can imagine the stuff we can do, the way we can tailor them is crazy. We can do the traditional things, but we can also do faces. I've shown some of you my head one. I'll have to do that again just to leave a really dramatic and stark impression at the end of the presentation. But if you can think of it, dream it, we can build it basically. And while I dig for that other one to end off, I don't know, do we do questions?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, jump in. Is this a good time, Dean?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know if you put your hand up or just
Oh, we got Andy.
Andy, sure.
Dean, two questions. The first one is, do you know the book Mr. Schmooze?
Yes, I do.
All right, fantastic book. I recommend it everybody about giving gifts.
Yep.
And how to custom send a book or a project or something memorable to people. Great book. If anybody hasn't had it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, it's a great book. As a matter of fact, I suspect Mark Porter is Mr. Schmooze.
And Mark Porter gave us that book many years ago. Secondly, Dean, I think the best way to give a gift after you have established a relationship is by having a power partner and giving them a referral, trading referrals back and forth, right? But I think there's something about giving gifts before you've established a relationship, before you are power partners and are exchanging referrals. And so, I mean, I think there's a certain kind of potential client where your gifts make a lot of sense, right? To get your foot in the door.
Oh,
right?
Prospecting. Yeah. I think there's two things you're saying there. One, genuine appreciation can't go wrong. I mean, whatever the reason, whenever. And I think some people get, I don't know if it's embarrassed or whatever, but they start thinking of, well, am I trying to buy their business? And am I trying to bribe them with something? And it's kind of funny because if you're thinking that way, you should question yourself because why are you doing it? But if you genuinely want to say thank you, I really appreciate what you do, what we could do, what you have done, then sending a gift is very natural and very authentic.
I think you're spot on, Dean. Look, it's about what your beliefs are, right? Don't get too much in your head. If you have a heart to serve and you have a heart of appreciation, send the gift. Don't worry how they're going to perceive it. That's on their side. You do what you know is right on your side of the fence. And by the way, that goes with everything.
How they respond could be very useful too, because if giving gifts happens to be their love language, boom. If it isn't their love language, you're going to find that out too.
You're going to find it out. Yeah, very true.
But I'll tell you one thing. Most people aren't going to come back complaining about the gift they got if it's not their love language. So you're pretty safe either way. Yeah. But yeah, that's for sure. And I think the kind of along that line too, give authentically, genuinely, on your end, believe it and don't worry about what other people think. But then also be okay with receiving from it. I think that's maybe even something a lot of people have a harder time with is, I can give it, I can say thank you, but if you do anything back, if you show appreciation, if you pass me a referral because of this, then I have to feel guilty. Well, no, again, if you're doing the right thing, you're working well, you're showing appreciation authentically, and that gets reciprocated, I mean, in a sense, that's what it's all about, right? So you shouldn't, if you're okay with doing what you're doing in the first place, that's great. And you should be okay with getting the benefits of that, whatever they may be. Maybe a referral, maybe business, maybe just a thank you. You never know. And the other, I just sort of show you, there's all kinds of creativity, but this is the one that I joke about, laugh, scare, shock, otherwise. That is my business card, folks. That's my new one. So I like to play with things, but yeah, you can be pretty creative and inventive. And I joke about that because I've had my daughter said that's freaky. It's scary. Don't show people that. And I've had other people chuckle. I've had every reaction to it. But the one thing I know is that not a single person, probably for the rest of their life, will ever forget that. And
Yeah.
that is
Yeah, we
my
can't
business,
unsee
right?
it.
You can't unsee it. It's stuck there forever. So that's it for my official presentation. If there's any
No,
other
excellent.
questions,
And
fine.
you
But
did some
yeah,
really
thank you
great
so much.
psychological points too, Dean. And one of the things that I wanted to stress is that I think a lot of times people don't like receiving because they feel like there's a sense of obligation when in fact there isn't. And I think, look, it's how it's not what you say, it's how you say things, right? And one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I put that link to that sales blueprint is because there's the guy there, and it's an excellent video. You got to watch it. There's 7 tonalities. I didn't know there was 7 tonalities, but they talk about tone, your tone when you're talking with people, and particularly when you're model matching folks. But it's look, the world isn't tit for tat or quid pro quo. Of course, reciprocity is great, but some people are going to give more than they receive, and vice versa. It's just kind of the way the universe is, because some are more conducive than others, right? Depending on their line of work or even depending on how they view the world. But it doesn't have to be where there's because somebody gave you a gift, you instantly have to give them a gift. But at the same time, you do want to show appreciation at some point, right? When you have a relationship with someone. And even if it's not a referral relationship, it's just a friendship. How many times do we call our friends just to say hello? Right. And just because you
I
call them 4 times, it doesn't mean they got to call you back 4 times. And don't get all butthurt because they don't call you as much as you call them. I hear that a ton. Well, I call people 10 times and you only called me 5. I mean, really, are you an accountant, an emotional accountant? Come on. It doesn't
I got
work
to
that way.
I got to tell you one other thing you just brought up to mind. Um, and you were talking about this a bit too, Andy. Prospecting, I do use this as a tool as well. Uh, from a strategic standpoint, breaking through the noise, getting in touch with somebody. We all know how hard it is to get in front of the CEO or something like that with the gatekeepers. And one of the things I've done in certain circumstances, there has to be a good ROI and it makes sense. But some of the CEOs I've gone after, I've taken a knife, I've branded their logo, I've put a catchphrase or their company slogan on it, sent it to them. No business card, no letter, nothing. I just sent it out of the blue. And then I follow up usually a week or two later and just make sure they've gotten it. And the number of times that if somebody opens the package for the person, they're definitely going to pass it on. There's no way that they're going to see this engraved branded knife that's sent to somebody, their boss, and say, yeah, we're just not going to show them. So it gets through. B, when I follow up, there's nothing in it. There's no marketing. And it is genuinely in appreciation and recognition. So when I follow up, I say, I just, hey, I wanted to make sure that John got my gift. Can I talk to him for a sec? Or, I want to make sure that they understand what this is for. And there's been, I think, one person that's tried to get in the way a little bit, but it's really easy to say, no, actually, I have to talk to him personally, just to get his own opinion and breeze right through. And then I talked to the person that got the gift. And again, hey, just wanted to make sure you got it. I love what you do and what you represent and wanted to show some appreciation and kind of say thanks for all you do. And they're like, really? Who are you? Why are you doing this? What's this all
Right.
about? What's there for it? And I'm like, nothing. There's no catch here. They don't even know who I am until I introduce myself,
That's
and
true.
I'm not asking for anything at the time. Now, guess what? Every single time that happens, that conversation happens, at some point, they ask me, well, what do you do?
What do you do?
Right? I mean,
Right.
I could almost script it out as to if
Yep.
I ask you this, what's going to happen back? And that is, it doesn't mean it's going to be business or not, but that's all I want is I want them to say, you know what do you do? So that I can
Yep.
tell them,
But you're a
in my case,
farmer. You're a farmer,
yeah,
Dean. You're planting seeds. That's the key
exactly.
to this. It's a numbers game. I do something similar to you, except I send out the book, The Fred Factor, in a little, put, the little puffy envelopes, and I put a $5 Starbucks card. If you haven't read The Fred Factor, it is really a fantastic book. I highly recommend. Here, I'm going to share it real quick. I highly recommend that you use this as part of your business dev, your biz dev, and sending out gifts. The book is not expensive at all. Look, you can get one for like $2.99. Send it in a little pouch, give it to people because it really tells also, because I know most of you pretty well, of your core values and who you are as people and the amount of work and heart and effort you put into each and every one of your career and what you do and how you love on people. The Fred Factor is really just a telling story. It's a read that you can read over the weekend. It's not a long read. It's a fantastic book to send out, as well as Ian's, of course. Ian's book is another great book to send out, to plug him as well. That's an excellent follow-up book to send out to someone. But the Fred Factor is just tiny. It's small. Yep, kind ambition. I have a bunch of copies. I give them out as well. If you don't have a copy, let me know. I'll get you one. But the Fred Factor is great to send out. If you're, especially if you're doing B2B, you want to send it out to some of those big execs and things. So great ideas. Thank you so much. Anybody else have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just have a couple comments.
Comments. Let's go. Yeah.
Sure.
I sold Cutco cutlery door to door when I was in high school
Wow.
in the Detroit area, a city that is actually north of Canada. That's all.
Okay. Kindred spirits over here, Dean.
Hey, that's all right.
Hey, that's all right, eh? Very good. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I don't have a question. It's more of a comment. I think it's also a cultural thing. In Chinese culture, I'm Chinese, if you didn't guess, but we always give gifts and don't expect anything in return.
I love that.
So I think me being living in the UK and the US now, I think it is a cultural thing. I don't expect my British friends to give me anything, and living in that kind of that world, I haven't done that, right? I only give gifts to my Chinese friends and family. So, yeah, just an observation.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for the insight. I love the British accent trick too, buddy. That's good. You did that very well.
One more, Eddie. Ed, one more. Emily and I have had our Cutco set since we were married in 1977.
Wow.
We use it every day. We would never have had to have it sharpened. I use a fillet knife several times a week and steak knives.
Send the same video of this testimonial to Dean. He's going to use it on all his future marketing.
I will.
There is
Awesome.
this presentation is being recorded, right? Perfect.
Yes, it is. Yes. Well, we'll
me
send
the
it to you
link
so you
after.
can cut that out.
I just got Dean. I just got Dean's check yesterday. So
Nice.
There you go. They're in the
Excellent.
mail.
All right. Well, thank you
Perfect. Well,
again,
thank you
Dean.
very much.
Excellent presentation. Perfect.
My
Thank you
information is
so
in the
much.
chat if you want to book a one-to-one. Love to chat with everybody.
Absolutely. Yes, everybody. Again, we encourage one-to-ones. That's part of the sauce here, is that we get to know each other, right? And on that note, just really quickly, I want to go through the pillars of BNG because sometimes, I haven't talked about it in a while. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Number one, we go to networking events together and we work the rooms together. Some people are better than others, but guess what? When we all go and the goal is to introduce one another to other people, it just really does make a difference and it accelerates networking. Number two, we do the one-on-ones to socialize, right? We all know that we with the Spinnakers. Thank you, Gloria, again for setting that up. In Sausalito, those are excellent. We're going to be doing some more mixers face to face here, especially here at the Sacred Taco on Union Street. I'm going to arrange that. But it's important that we know each other on a human level too, not just business, because we're going to wrap both of them in, but it's important to know one another so we can grow like a family. Number three, we give back to the community. Still working on that. Anybody who knows an organization that may need some volunteers, please reach out to me so that I can reach out to them and schedule us as a group. For some reason, the food bank is they're booked for days. I've been talking to them like literally twice a week. They're booked for days for groups. So we have to look at a different venue. What's that?
St. Anthony's, they're in the Tenderloin.
Yep.
They always need people for the kitchen.
Excellent. Yeah, let's talk about that, Paula. Just send me their information and I'll reach out to them. And then, of course, send each other qualified business. Real friends take care of real friends, right? That means we're all here to help each other also financially, make sure that we're all thriving, that we're doing well. We want to support each other's businesses by doing what? Number one, everybody should be on everybody's social media. All the feeds, all of us should be on every one of ours. And make sure that when you have time, I know we're all super busy, but when you have time, that you contribute and put some input, right? Send a heart, send a congratulations, when somebody posts something, it's very important that we interact on social media because it is very, very viral. So those are the 4 pillars. Please make sure that you embrace those because we are a Givers Gain group. We are here to become family, but also to help each other network and expand our businesses. All right. On that note, now let's take it to Elizabeth. Not only is she presenting today, but she is our newest member. So Elizabeth, I had a great one-on-one with you. I was just really blown away of who you are as a person, and then also your journey in your whole tax career. So take it from here. Thank you for being here. You're on mute.
Great. No, thank you, Ed, for the great introduction. First of all, my name's Elizabeth Randall. I have Elizabeth Randall Bookkeeping, and I help business owners like you. I love numbers, so I'm going to dive right into the numbers. So I help business owners like you increase profits by an average of $7,500 a year and save over 60 hours annually by streaming your bookkeeping. With the expertise of a CPA behind the numbers, you get accuracy, insights, and peace of mind without the corporate cost. And a couple of numbers that I was unaware of is that approximately 21% of small and medium business owners admit they don't know enough about bookkeeping, and 70% don't even have an accountant. And if I can briefly just digress to dive a little bit deeper and tell you about myself, as a kid and young adult, my mom and I spent 15 years raising, training, and showing collies in the conformation and obedience rings of the American Kennel Club. And those years taught me patience, precision, the importance of following through, qualities that have really helped me in bookkeeping today. I actually dreamed I wanted to be a veterinarian, and came to the conclusion that probably was not a good idea when I was in my vet's office with my collie and he took a blood sample and I passed out. And needless to say, I decided a different career path was probably a good idea. And outside of accounting, I have had some wonderful adventures. I spent over 8 years as a successful competitive amateur ballroom dancer, competing, performing, learning how, discipline and creativity go hand in hand. I learned the importance of, I was only placing like in second and third places. I want to say amateur, I danced with a professional. But I learned the importance of, spending money on a good cause. I spent 4 figures on an awesome ballroom dancing dress that I purchased from Valentina, a Russian professional who's internationally known. And as soon as I got that amazing dress, I got first place, first place, first place. It was like I've learned something like that. And then in the meantime, I am an animal lover. I've spent many years doing something called TNR, trap, neuter, and release of feral cats here in the San Jose southern part of the San Francisco Bay Area. And what I learned from that was that if I had a feral kitty under my roof for 24 hours, I would fall in love with it. So I no longer do that, but I have my 2 beloved kitty cats, and I have a sign on my front door that says dogs have owners, cats have staff. So I am not a emotional accountant by any matter of means. There's more to me than meets the eye. But getting back to kind of my professional career, I've spent over 20 years in the corporate world, working as a stock plan administrator, accounting manager, and CPA. Stock plan administrators, we deal in the care and feeding of publicly held companies, give equity gifts to their employees, incentive stock options, restricted stock units, employee stock purchase plans. And from an administrative standpoint, it's really important. You have to, particularly whether you're dealing with an employee or the CEO or the C-suite folk, you can't make mistakes. It's about precision. It's about handling the disclosures, the Ks, the Qs, the SEC disclosures, the Form 4s, the proxies, D&O questionnaires. So I'm very familiar with that kind of environment. But as a stock plan administrator, one's day is pretty regimented. In other words, the NASDAQ closes at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock our time here in California. And the main thing is, oh, I have to process any stock option exercises, process them. I have an hour and a half to get them to payroll. And then the next day I have to be sure that taxes have been appropriately done. And it's a very regimented, pretty sterile kind of environment. And I decided I really wanted to be my own boss, and I really wanted to help people and bring kind of that expertise to small and business owners to, raise their consciousness about, kind of their bookkeeping. First of all, organized, accurate financials can really make or break a business. It's not about tax time. It's about clarity, confidence, knowing where your numbers are coming from, providing streamlined bookkeeping services, and providing financial expertise without having to pay corporate level costs. And the problem most business owners face is they find bookkeeping boring. They have better things to do with, you do have better things to do with your time. You're looking at your product, you're looking at your customers, enjoying the thrill of having your own business. But here's the thing, messy books lead to missed opportunities, deductions, lost, cash flow problems, hidden until it's too late, disorganized financials, meaning poor decision making because you can't manage what you don't measure. So while hiring a full-time CPA might be out of reach, ignoring the problem costs even more over time. So this is kind of where I come in my market niche. I organize and clean up your books. No more wondering if things are accurate. And in dealing with a lot of business orders, the things that come to mind are, and with the best possible objectives, business owners will combine business stuff with their personal finances. They get commingled. Many business owners haven't filed their taxes on a regular basis. I currently have a personal friend who hasn't filed taxes since 2018, and I'm in the process of helping her clean up all of those, those years since then in order to get good numbers to avoid, IRS penalties. Providing clear, easy to read financials so you always know kind of where you stand. I was just talking to a business owner the other day, and she has QuickBooks Online. She organizes her financials. She reconciles her checking account, but she doesn't really look at her balance sheet and her income statement to find out the state of the union regarding her business. I uncover ways to boost your profitability. I mentioned approximately $7,500 per year. This person in particular spends 4 hours per week just working on invoicing. So that's 20 hours per month that she can really spend on doing bigger and better things regarding her business. So I like to, I went to my figures all come from the Intuit website. I'm a QuickBooks Pro advisor. I help you fully leverage QuickBooks Online, meaning you can access your financials securely and remotely whenever you need. And it's kind of like having a trusted financial partner, not only paying for what you truly need. So I have, recently made the decision I want to be my own boss. I want to help people. What I do like about QuickBooks Online, now it's so funny because when I am a CPA, I did my 2 years of indentured servitude at Deloitte & Touche in San Francisco. And we are brought up on debits and credits and journal entries. Well, QuickBooks Online and similar platforms are now bringing in the AI element, and that is working constantly in the background. And as I mentioned, I'm currently working with someone who does use QuickBooks Online, but the AI is kind of taken over in that QuickBooks will go in and try to make matches between here's the invoice, here's the payment, here's the sales receipt, here's the payment. And unfortunately, and as a former auditor, and I do bring that auditing expertise to everything I do, you got to check AI. You can't trust it. You got to, it has to have a proven track record. In QuickBooks Online, you can set up certain rules that if a transaction comes from a particular vendor, if it's Amazon, it goes to account A. if it's something else that goes to account B, but you still can't trust it. You have to check it every way. And in more than one occasion, those rules were AI did the best it could, but it was just plain wrong. So it needs that oversight. It needs that human ability to go into the books and saying, gee, does this really make sense? So what I really enjoy doing is going into doing what needs to be done, whether it's 6 years of cleanup and catch up, whether it's kind of bringing an auditor's perspective to what you're doing with your books so that your books are clean when it's time to do your taxes. I work with CPAs who do, I personally do not do taxes, but I work and get referrals from CPAs who do taxes when one of their client comes in with the proverbial, whether it's the shoebox or the Excel spreadsheets or just books that simply don't make sense. I get great referrals from CPAs, enrolled agents, financial planners, lawyers who come in and say, hey, please bring order out of chaos. And while I do enjoy, certainly educating and business owners about how their books work, because I think, knowledge is power. They have better, business owners have better things to do with their time, which is running their business, enjoying their business, getting joy out of their business and having fun. And if I can come in, what I see as my particular, offerings here, it's like having a trusted financial partner, but only paying for what you truly need. So I'm offering free evaluations right now. I'm currently working with a wonderful lady who's using QuickBooks Online, but can use it better. And even better, I could take it over for her and make it just more efficient while she does what she does best. So right now I am offering a free evaluation, a simple no pressure opportunity to see where your financials stand and where could we make immediate improvements. So imagine starting, my goal is to help you sleep better at night, knowing, you don't have to worry about your taxes. You have a really fundamental understanding of where your business is financially. Do you have plans about the future? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to bring on more help? And I like I want to hear about your worries, doubts, and fears, but I also want to hear about your dreams, your visions as you go, your goals as to what you want to do with your business and the rest of your life. So, let's build the strong financial foundation your business deserves. And I really can't wait to help you succeed. I get a true, I get an immense satisfaction out of seeing my little chickadees grow into swans. And I'm open for questions.
Excellent. Well, comments, insights, excellent presentation. Thank you for giving us both sides, both your personal and also the business.
Elizabeth, one of the things that you've mentioned about the AI thing, I read recently that a financial institution was trying to save money by letting a bunch of people go and replacing them with AI, which then was giving out really bad advice. So they then needed to hire a whole bunch of people to come in and audit what the AI was doing. So they were now paying double what they paid before just to clean up what wasn't working. So you definitely can save them that whole step.
Yep. And QuickBooks Online, it's AI. It's geared so that it's supposed to monitor one's history over time and then make decisions upon doing that. And that's all and well, but you still don't trust it.
Yeah.
I don't trust computers. And I have an AA from College of San Mateo in computer programming and computer operations. And as as a former auditor, at Deloitte, to get your CPA license, you have to have 800 audit hours. When I was with audit at Deloitte, I had 3,000.
Wow.
And I really enjoy, and I'm very left-brained. I enjoy really, finding what's going on here. What's the real story? And
the forensics part. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Very
AI
cool.
is nice, but I don't trust it. And I wouldn't encourage, you have to
Not
be
fully anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Any other questions or insights, folks?
I just want to say that your persona is quite lovely, and I think that you're going to fit with us wonderfully because we're a family here, and I trust just what you're saying and that you care about what you're saying, and welcome to the group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying that, Deborah, because I told her too, because she was telling me that she was, well, who am I presenting to, right? Because she's getting her marketing feet wet. It's like, she was a little scared to present, but you did a fantastic job. So everybody, let's give her a hand. She did fantastic. Thank you, Elizabeth, because definitely your personality and your care and your heart shined. And hey, 3,000 hours of auditing. Does anybody have any questions on her competence? Hello.
I want to say that I went to high school with Elizabeth. So I've
That's
known her
right.
a long
It's
time.
thanks to it's thanks to Cindy that we have her here.
So
Talk about a full circle
sorry
moment.
I missed your presentation or most of your presentation. Just one of those mornings I didn't.
Oh, she's going to show up to your house and do the presentation there. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
And then how do we reach you?
Make sure to put all your info in the chat, Elizabeth, so that people can reach you.
Will do.
Yeah, really important.
And also, don't forget, folks, to put your social media as well, so that we can all sign up there and share all your stuff and contribute. All right, Gloria, you're frozen, it looks like. Take it from here. Can you hear us?
Yeah. I'm frozen? No.
Oh, you are now. You unfroze. You're good.
I like being frozen. That way you get my best angle. See?
Or is it the margarita frozen that you like?
Ooh,
come on.
No, it's got to be over the rocks, baby, over the rocks. Anyway, good morning, everybody. It's so nice to see so many nice faces, smiles. I'm going to give you an update here. We ran way over today. The presentations typically take 10 to 15 minutes, but we wanted to give people a little extra time today. So I'm going to ask everybody to stay on until 10 after, because I think that's how long it's going to take.